Alright guys, welcome back to the Lot Alive podcast. Oh my goodness gracious. I got Steve with me today. How you doing, Steve?
Doing good. Special guest.
It is a special guest.
Right.
A special guest with Steve today. He is going over some stuff in the Lot Life podcast. We are going over debt consolidation.
These are some very important things. Chris wanted me to come on.
Yeah.
The last podcast was so good talking about what did we talk about, Andrew?
We talked about the chime cards and how it
Talked about the
affects you.
chime cards. That's right.
Yeah, so debt consolidation is the next thing that
Yes.
is not great,
Yes.
and he is going to explain
Chris
why
was
it's
on his
bad.
way here. He called me to come in because he wasn't able to get here. Found out we were doing another special report, and they stopped him. They
Yep.
blocked him. They didn't want him here. The credit police, they're out, and they don't play around.
Well, let's go over with Steve on the debt consolidation and figure out. So, Steve, why is debt consolidation not a good thing for anybody?
Okay, this is what we're talking about, debt consolidation. They tell you, you've got some debt, you want to get rid of it, this is how you do it. And then they say, give all your stuff to these debt consolidation people. But they don't tell you the dark secret of how debt consolidation works. Oh, that's me.
you're the professional on here, Steve.
All right, so this is how debt consolidation works. They tell you not to pay your bills. You have credit card bills that have a big balance on it. You don't want to deal with that. You got 4 or 5 of these credit card bills. You don't want to pay these. You've got other bills. They tell you don't pay these bills. If you don't pay these bills, once it gets to a certain time, 3 months, 6 months, something like that, these companies that you owe money start thinking, well, I guess they're not going to pay us. So the debt consolidation company comes in and then they say, we will offer you a settlement on this debt. We'll pay you a smaller amount. So as the customer, you don't have to pay as much, is the premise that they tell you. You don't have to pay as much to those companies that you owe money to. The downside is the only way this works is if that company thinks they're never going to get their money.
Correct.
The only way they think they're never going to get that money is to go 3 to 6 months without getting that money.
Yeah, 90 to 120 days of not paying a payment, basically.
Meanwhile, what happens to your credit, Andrew?
Boom, it goes in the dumps. So you go from a 720 not paying all your bills to like a 420 to 380.
Correct. Worst part is, not only does your credit take a huge hit from doing this, now you have all these things on your credit report that show that you aren't making payments. So then you come into a dealership such as Randall Ford, who is going to try to help you. I've talked to Chris many times. Chris is such a great guy. I don't know, a lot of people don't know how great a guy Chris is.
Okay.
He's like,
Okay,
I'm trying to put together a parade for him. We're still working on that right now. So people he's incredible.
I don't know if we know the same Chris. We're probably talking about two different
Yeah.
Chris's.
Yes, he told me about you, Andrew. Anyway, so working on a deal. You come into Randall Ford, you want to buy a car. They look at your credit, say, okay, oh. And then they see all these late pays for all these different cards, whatever it might be. Then they will try to help you, but again, Randall Ford doesn't make the decisions. We send it off to a bank, and then the bank sees that. Unfortunately, banks are probably going to give you.
And just because that you say that debt consolidation told you to do that, that's exactly what they're telling you to do, and you're doing what you're doing
Yes.
what they said, does not mean they're going to approve you, because they don't know whether you're going to make the payment or not, because you're letting everything else go back. And this happens a couple of times. I've had about 3 or 4 of these calls that I have to go with, that they let cars repo and getting rid of cars because it's $900, $1,200 a month, and they don't want to do it, and they're doing the debt consolidation, and they're trying to get a $300 car or $300 car, and they can't even get that because of the stuff that they did. Now, if they did it before, it'd be a little bit different story, but since they did it and let it all go back, once you ruin your credit, that's what banks go off
It
of.
takes a long time to get it cleaned up.
Yes, it does. So
One thing I can say is, as an observer, I can say, if you have questions about your credit, go see people that you would like that will help you with your credit. Go talk to those guys at Randall Ford. You don't have to buy a car. Just go in there and tell them that you have some questions about your credit. Do you have some advice for them? They will be glad to help you, offer some advice, watch the other episodes of podcasts. So this show, I watch some of these things. This is great. I can't believe how good Chris is on this show. And he kind of carries you, doesn't he, Andrew?
I don't know about that. I don't know about
he
that.
is incredible.
What's that?
Well, you're there.
Yeah, I'm just here. Okay. Another thing is there also is what is it that does that you? Okay, so you pay these people, they go in there and they try to
Drives a
fix
little
your
bit without Chris here, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay, just a little bit. So what's those people called that when you pay them to fix your credit, but not necessarily going through debt consolidation? You're just paying them to fix your credit. So I don't know if y'all have ever heard those phone calls when people's like, "Hey, I want to fix your credit. Let me help and get some stuff off of your credit," and stuff like that. Have you ever heard that? Do you know what they're called?
Where are you going with this, Andrew?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you. So there's people out there that go and fix credit, professionally fix credit, and you pay them a certain amount a month, and they go in there and they'll fix your credit. I don't know if you've ever heard of these.
Lexington Law Firm.
No, I don't think that's what it's called.
It is.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe one of those. There's tons of companies that do this. You may even get spams of it or through your email. But another thing of that, all they're doing, and you can do it yourself, is basically go on your Experian and say that you have collections or something like that. You can get a hold of those companies and call those companies and pay less money than what you actually owe on there. That's all they're doing too. So you can actually do that, or you can actually go on there and put emails saying, "Hey, I want this off my credit." If they don't message you in like 120 days or something like that, then it just drops off there. So depends on if they message you back or not, but hey, it's a gamble. Might as well take it.
It's never a bad idea to get your credit report every so often, look through it, scan it, get somebody that knows more about it to scan it, because sometimes things will get put on your credit report that you know nothing about. Sometimes we see people come in to buy a car, they will have a $50 collection on their account because they didn't turn in their Cox cable box 2 years ago. They got turned over to collections. It's on their collection. They have that collection showing. They have no idea that it's there, but that is a collection on their account, and that hurts them. So check that thing every so often. See what you have on there. If you have a collection, if you have something, pay it, because even if you pay it, it might show as a collection, but it'll show a paid debt, and that's a lot better than it's still sitting out there just soaking you up.
We had a guy in here not too long ago who had a
We didn't. I wasn't here. You mean you and Chris?
A guy. Yeah, me and Chris had a guy in here. He had a collection on Progressive, and the guy called Progressive, and they ended up figuring out that he did make the payments and stuff like that, so it shouldn't even been on there. That thing was on there for like 4 years.
Whoa!
Yes, but they ended up taking it off, and it helped him out, put him up another 20 points. So just stuff like that. Go see someone like that me and Steve were talking about. Go have someone look at your credit.
Go see Chris, the smart one.
Okay. Yeah, go see Chris is actually the smarter one on this stuff, but
It's
Steve,
easy. It's easy to be.
Steve, you may not be on this podcast ever again.
Remember, vote for Steve.
But anyways, yeah, guys, we just wanted to talk about debt consolidation just because the Chime stuff went and people's like questioning about all the Chime stuff, but there's more stuff out there just like this debt consolidation. Don't do it. Yeah, I know that they say they're professionals on doing it, but you're just ruining your credit is all you're doing. But that's all we really basically have today, right?
Yes, that's it.
Yep. So click the link.
Yes.
Go subscribe to our
Appreciate
YouTube
you guys
channel.
have been getting some subscribers.
We
You need
have.
some more. Everybody
we-
subscribe. Come on.
Yes. So go subscribe, click the link, and also share if you don't mind. If you're on Facebook watching, share.
Why wouldn't you?
And
Come on,
absolutely. Share it and get us out there. Thank you, guys.
Whoa.